What up, y'all? I'm Elizabeth Booker Houston, aka Booker Squared.
And I'm Jasmine Burton, aka Jazzy Beats, and this is
No Distractions, and this is where we cut through the political BS. And today we're talking about what's going on with continuing resolution. And we just thought that the portrait gallery was the perfect time to do this. We're doing a little tour today. As you can see, we're standing in front of the portrait of the women nominated to the Supreme Court. We are missing Ketanji Brown Jackson. Yeah. This is, of course, before she was brought into the court.
Right.
Amy Coney Island is not in here. We don't care. There was a continuing resolution, right, that the Republicans had put forth that was terrible.
It was absolutely terrible, and we were all under the impression that all the Democrats were going to stand strong together and vote no on the continuing resolution. But Chuck Schumer sold out, and he sold out so hard, he actually got a praise tweet from Trump.
Hakeem Jeffries, shout out to Hakeem. He was holding strong with his people, and he was like, no, we're not going to vote yes on this. This is horrible. And then, they asked him after the fact, after Chuck sold them out, do we think we need new Senate leadership? And he just said, next question.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. And honestly, shout out Hakeem Jeffries, and also shout out all 61 members of the Congressional Black Caucus that stood firm and voted no on the continuing resolution. They made that promise, stuck to it regardless of the outside pressure, and so shout out to them for that.
We were standing in front of that beautiful portrait of the women on the Supreme Court, and one of the things that we want to debunk that Chuck used as his excuse for why he was for voting yes and not allowing a shutdown is that the courts would shut down during a government shutdown, and that's not true.
Live from the pit of hell.
100%. And we know that Rosa DeLauro, who is the representative who was on the House Appropriations Committee, she issued a statement saying that she would vote no. Mm-hmm. And we know that Nancy Pelosi issued a statement saying heck no. We know that Jasmine Crockett was like, vote no. I know there's like a trend here, and I think it's like listen to women.
I was like, what do all those voices have in common? Oh yeah, they're female voices.
Female voices who know better. Because we know that the courts will stay open and they can continue to fight through Trump's BS in the courts. I did a little more digging to check into this. We had a 35-day shutdown back in 2018 to 2019. It was the longest shutdown in history. And I went digging back, and the courts did not close.
Not at all.
So when we did some research, I found that there is a headline that's catching a lot of people from Reuters from 2023, which basically says the courts can operate for 2 weeks in a shutdown. And so people are seeing that headline, and they're thinking, okay, only 2 weeks, which, by the way, even if it's only 2 weeks, why not at least let it shut down for the weekend and try to negotiate a little more?
Right.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
I don't understand that either.
Yeah, didn't make sense. But they're talking about at full funding capacity. So I did a little more digging, and from the U.S. Court's website, directly from the source, they straight up said about 2 to 3 weeks they can fund at full capacity, okay? After that, they cut down to essential services, which still includes civil cases. Okay. Civil cases like what would affect really big issues, and I think firing people that affect public health and national security unlawfully would fall right into those essential services. Those are essential cases. On top of that, the DOJ would also be furloughed in a shutdown, right? So Trump's own people, his own attorneys, his own prosecutors, Pam Bondi, they would still be required to cover criminal cases, but when it comes to civil cases, the courts, the judges have the authority to make the DOJ attorneys, even if furloughed, cover those civil cases.
Ooh,
so it's the judge's call. Right. I think a lot of people didn't know that. And I think Chuck Schumer banked on a lot of people not knowing that.
Well, shoot, I was one of the people. But look, I'm learning today too. We're standing here in front of this portrait. It's a flag of Elon Musk's people.
Speaking of Elon Musk and these terrible people, and when it comes to that kind of ideology, one thing that Trump and them are trying to push is this assimilation with mass deportations. And so did you see that Judge Prosberg, who is a federal judge, he went ahead and blocked Trump using the Alien Enemies Act to try to mass deport 300 Venezuelans.
I did not see that.
Yeah. So here's the thing.
Okay.
The judge said, heck no, you can't do this. And they already had people on the planes. And he was like, turn those planes around.
He made the planes stop in the air?
He told him to, but Trump defied it. So now we're waiting to see what's going to happen, because that's a big no-no. I love the reaction that you have right now, because
that's blatantly illegal. Look, I don't know how I'm surprised that he does illegal shit, because he does it nonstop.
All the time.
But the fact that he defied a judge's order.
Direct order. Clear order. And then still deported more people after. What I want people to remember is that these deportations, everybody thinks of just like undocumented Latino immigrants. We keep telling y'all that they're coming for anybody.
They're coming for anybody
who does not assimilate into American culture. Talk a little bit about Mahmoud Khalil as we're talking about this.
Mahmoud Khalil is a legal permanent resident, so he has all the First Amendment protections of an actual citizen, and even though that he did have this, they were still trying to deport him.
Yeah, all because they didn't like the fact that he protested on his university campus in Columbia, so he's now being held in a detention center in Louisiana.
And they are still fighting for him. They're still trying to get him back to New York, where he was originally, because he was a student at Columbia, but all pending right now, which is still crazy because everyone thinks that this is about illegal immigrants, it's about people that aren't here lawfully, all all of that stuff, but it's not that. He is attacking people that are here lawfully, that are citizens, that have legal permanent residence here, all of that.
At what point does this extend to people who are citizens and who are born here, but who also say things in protest in ways that this administration doesn't like?
What's stopping them from seeing our Instagram video and picking us up at our job?
Girl, come on. Jasmine doesn't know about the last thing we're going to talk about, which is a bit of a surprise, and it's regarding that man right there. You want to hear some news?
I do want to hear some news.
My husband got reinstated because this man wasted taxpayer dollars fighting our lawsuits.
He's back.
He's back. All of those federal employees who were legally terminated are all reinstated according to a judge order on Friday, and he got the email today. So how do you feel about that?
We've been waiting for Billy to get his job back, so this is nice. Okay, wait, look at that.
Yeah, look at that.
Okay, he tried it. But the
tried
judge
it.
was like, no. I did see that in the news about the judge that reinstated all the federal workers. And it's crazy because even Trump, when he was asked to comment, declined to comment because I think he's like, oh shit. It's handled by people that are actually doing their job because Trump is too busy trying to get you to buy a Tesla in the front of the White House because Elon Musk's stock plummeted. So he has other things to do that have nothing to do with running this country.
We're going to close out our tour today in the Portrait Gallery
With the one and only John Lewis.
who has taught us to make good trouble, and that's what we're going to keep doing. We're going to keep fighting this administration. So
We are.
We want to thank y'all for joining us for this episode of No Distractions today on our little outing, and hopefully we've inspired you to keep fighting because at the end, we're going to win this.
We gonna win this. We gonna win this. Catch us in 2026, not 2028.
Bye.